Good morning, class 7. Today we will start with chapter 9 of your civics book, Struggles for Equality. So, here what we are going to do is it's like almost you can say the summary of all the chapters, whichever we have done till date. And like when we talk about equality, we all are aware with this term, and you must have heard that the adults have the right to vote in our country, and therefore the political system which exists in our country is a democratic sort of, where the government is chosen by the people. Now, if people feel that the government which is they have voted for is not working according to the for the betterment of the country or for the betterment of the citizen, in the coming elections they can easily vote to some other party whose criteria or whose policies they feel will be better for them. Now, therefore it is said that it is necessary to vote. Otherwise, sometimes what happens is that people crib that this political party is not working and according to the constitution, or is not working for the betterment of the people, but then they should vote. They should not consider the day of elections as as a holiday. Now, second thing, when we talk about equality, we all know that there has to be some discrimination. There was discrimination when Britishers were ruling the country, and they have ruled us for such a long period that we realized the importance of equality. Why it should be the main, you can say the protocol or the main point for the governance, because that discrimination has made us realized how there was discrimination for because we are Indians, so they discriminated us. Then discrimination existed before the coming of the Britishers also. Remember when we had the, when we were following the Varna system, then also we had the discrimination. So Indians have been you can say aware of discrimination since time immemorial. So let's begin with the chapter. In this book you have read about people like Kanta, the Ansaris, Melani, and Swapna. The thread that connects all of these lives is that they have been treated unequally. What do people do when they face such inequalities? History is full of examples of persons who have come together to fight against inequality and for issues of justice. Do you recall the story of Rosa Parks in chapter 1? Do you remember the photo essay on the women's movement in chapter 5? So, in this chapter, you will learn about some of the ways in which people have struggled against inequality. Now, maybe you people, although we have read it, but you can easily understand this. Like sometimes it happens that because you are the elder brother or sister and you had a fight with your younger sibling, then you get scolding for it. Or maybe mother or father say that you are the elder one, so you should have behaved properly, although you feel that you were not at mistake. It was the mistake of your sibling and not you, but the scolding was given to you. So you feel okay, that sometimes you get this feeling that you are being discriminated, right? That equality is not there, and just because he or she is younger to you, so you are getting the scolding for the mistake he or she has done. So this way you can easily understand what is the term discrimination, right? Okay, as you have already read in this book, the Indian Constitution recognizes all Indians as equal before the law and states that no person can be discriminated against because of their religion, sex, caste, or whether they are rich or poor. So, this much we have, if you can recall, this much we have studied, that according to the constitution of our country, I'm sorry, there should not be any discrimination because a person is from particular caste, religion, or he or she is from particular, gender is maybe because of the gender, or whether they are rich or poor. All adults in India have the equal right to vote during elections, and this power over the ballot box has been used by people to elect or replace their representatives. So, this is what we were talking about, that there is no discrimination. Okay, fine, that you are rich, so you will give two votes. Oh, and you are a powerful person of this religion, so you will be getting five votes. No, it's not like this. A person who is above 18 years has the right to vote, and everybody has one vote, right? Okay, so but this feeling of equality with the ballot box provides, because the vote of one person is as good as that of another, does not extend to most people's lives. As you have read, the increasing privatization of health services and the neglect of government hospitals have made it difficult for most people, poor people like Kanta, Hakim Sheikh, and Aman to get good quality health care. These people do not have the resources to afford expensive private health services. So, if you have visited, like here they have given you the example of government hospital, you talk about the government school. If you visit the government school, you will see that at times there are only one or two teachers and there are three or four classes. So, they are taking care of all of them. So, obviously, it becomes difficult because a teacher cannot teach class 5 or class 6, 7, 8 simultaneously, because they have to be taught different subjects, and the way and the topics will be different. So obviously this is a major problem. Like, if you have speak to your parents, maybe, or maybe your grandparents, you will come to know that they have studied from the government school, and that time the government schools were good ones. But now nobody is willing to send their children to the government school. Even if people are not able to afford, they try to send their children to private schools. Only those students are going to government school who have the, like, like, just the reason is the midday meal. The children feel that they will get the midday meal, so that can be one greed which leads them to the school. Same here ways, when you talk about the scenario of the government hospitals, the doctors are not there. They are like having their own private hospitals where they are taking care of, but they are charging huge amount. Similarly, the man who sells juice does not have the resources to compete with all the major companies who sell branded drinks through expensive advertising. You must have seen that there is a vendor who sells juices around, like maybe around the corner of your area, or maybe the crossing or some place. And then go to the grocery shop, and there you see that there are tetra packs of juices. So obviously it becomes difficult for him to compete with them, because they are involved in they are like selling those drinks with the they spend a lot of money in the advertising, so people come to know about it. And well, whereas these people who are selling the juices at the around maybe near the nearby areas, it becomes difficult for them because they are not involving any advertising for their product. Swapna does not have sufficient resources to grow cotton, and so has to take a loan from the trader to grow her crop. This forces her to sell her cotton at a lower price. Milani, like the millions of workers across the country, is forced to endure the insults and hardships of working as a domestic help, because she has no resources to set up something on her own. So the domestic help who is working in the house, she has to bear the insults, the humiliating comments, because she has nothing, like no other work to do, and she needs that money which she's getting at the end of the month. So she ignores it, and she bears it, copes up with that, with the humiliation and all. Poverty and the lack of resources continue to be a key reason why so many people's lives in India are highly unequal. So this is like the poverty is one of the main reason, that is because they lack the resources. So that is one of the key reasons that why the inequality is there. On the other hand, the Ansaris were discriminated against not because they did not have the resources. In fact, despite having the money to pay the required rent, they were not able to find an apartment for over a month. People were reluctant to lease them an apartment because of their religion. Similarly, the main reason that the teacher forced Om Prakash Valmiki to sweep the floor yard was because he was Dalit. So you can see the discrimination here was on the grounds of religion and not the poverty. Therefore, like Ansaris, they could afford the money, but then they were discriminated or were not given the apartment just because they were practicing particular religion. You have also read that the work women do is often considered of less value than that done by the men. All of these persons are discriminated against primarily because of their social and cultural background, as well as because they are women. So many people say, oh, you are a housewife. Oh, so that means you are free. You just have to get up early in the morning. You have to prepare breakfast for children and husband. Then they leave. You clean the house, or sweep the house, or maybe do dusting and all. Then you prepare lunch for the children who will come back around 2. Then you have lunch with them. Then you help them with changing the dress and keeping their books and all properly. Then thereafter you help them in start doing their homework. Then in the evening when the husband comes back, then she is making the tea, and then she starts preparing the dinner and helps children again with the studies. That is all. She's doing nothing else. That is the only work she is doing. So obviously she is working round the clock. Then they have no holidays on Sunday or any other day for that matter. But still, if you ask anybody, they will say, oh, she's just a housewife. So you can see that the discrimination is there, and that when you talk about the male person, they work. We cannot say that they are not working, but then they have certain holidays, and that those holidays they just relax. They don't feel or they don't help anybody as such. But for a housewife, she has to work round the clock and throughout the year. No Sundays and no holidays for her. So all this discrimination is on the basis of person. There, the previous one we have talked about the religion. Here, caste and sex is another significant factor for why people are treated unequally in India. Often, poverty and lack of dignity and respect for certain communities and groups come together in such powerful ways that it is difficult to identify where one aspect of inequality ends and the other begins. As you have read, Dalit, Adivasi, and Muslim girls drop out of school in large number. This is a combined outcome of poverty, social discrimination, and the lack of good quality school facilities for these communities. So, till here we have studied that girls, Dalit, Adivasis, girls, especially the Muslim girls, they are usually dropped out from the school at certain age. The reason could be because of the poverty, because of the discrimination, and sometimes because of the lack of good quality school facilities. So that is all for today, children. We will end it here, and we will continue the class next time. Take care, read it, take care of yourselves, be safe at home. Thank you.